Hi there, everyone. Today we're diving into those heart-fluttering unexpected encounters and how humor can heal a broken heart. At this point, Ella also recognized him as the kind-hearted bookstore owner and easily dropped her guard, following Nick to her home. When Ella changed into clean clothes and slowly descended the stairs, Nick felt as if spring sunshine had just hit her, leaving her tongue-tied. She desperately tried to find a topic, but their worlds were so different that just one outfit of Ella's could freeze Nick's salary for years. Yet it was Nick's sincere attitude and genuine conversation that Ella longed for but found hard to come by. As Ella was about to leave, Nick couldn't hold her little spark anymore and hurriedly said, "Wait a minute." Nick felt a bit down, regretting not getting Ella's contact info, but just as she turned to leave, Wenling suddenly remembered. When she opened the door, it was Ella, who had forgotten her book. Nick handed it back quickly, and Ella didn't rush off this time. They locked eyes for a few seconds, and when their lips slowly parted, Nick was still lost in the bliss of the moment. However, Ella's next words left her deep in thought. Ella offered no further explanation and simply turned to leave, leaving Nick baffled, not realizing that this unexpected encounter would completely change her life. That night, Nick saw Ella on TV. She finally realized she had met a big star, but at that moment, she couldn't feel happy at all. After all, she and Ella were from different worlds, and that intimate moment would remain a secret in her heart. Fate always has a knack for drama. A phone call disrupted Nick's peaceful life. It was Ella's voice inviting her to meet at the hotel where she worked that afternoon. She couldn't believe a big star invited her. That afternoon, she went to the hotel with flowers. However, she was puzzled by the mysterious person shadowing her like a ghost, even following her to Ella's room. When she walked in and saw a room full of reporters, Nick felt like she was in a dream. It wasn't a private date at all, but rather a press meeting for Ella. Everyone thought Nick was there for an interview. When the staff asked her which magazine she represented, she could only stare blankly. In the midst of her sudden panic, her gaze inadvertently fell upon a magazine placed nearby, and while she was anxiously waiting, the handsome and charming guy suddenly became curious about the flowers tightly held in Nick's hand. He asked her who the flowers were for, and to avoid trouble for Ella, she claimed she was delivering them to her sick grandmother. But we all know that once a lie starts, it takes 1,000 more to cover it up. It was now Nick's turn for the interview. Under the staff's guidance, she entered Ella's bedroom and finally met her longed-for star, handing over the flowers. However, there wasn't much private space between them as Ella's manager was hovering nearby. To avoid exposing their relationship, Nick could only pose formal questions as a reporter, but their exchanges bore no fruit. Her manager finally left, giving Nick a chance to ask if Ella was free that evening. What she didn't expect was Ella had called her there solely for the purpose of apologizing, extinguishing the flame of enthusiasm that had ignited in Nick's heart as abruptly as a bucket of cold water. At that moment, she realized she had been daydreaming of dating a movie star. Seeing Nick's downcast demeanor, Ella wanted to explain. So the two said their goodbyes, but the handsome guy at the door sensed something off. Just as Nick was about to leave, the staff found her again. They begged her to interview all the actors involved. Though Nick felt reluctant, she had to toughen up and accept the assignment. After a series of interviews, Nick walked out exhausted, only for the staff to find her again, wanting to ask her even more questions. This time, the staff didn't come with the intention of causing any trouble. They led her into Ella's room, and Nick was instantly invigorated, realizing with astonishment that she actually had the chance to meet the big star. However, Nick forgot today was her sister's birthday. Luckily, Ella's heart was pure, and she offered to celebrate with Nick. Thus, Nick brought Ella to meet the family, but upon arriving home, Nick's brother began to grill Ella. Her brother was utterly speechless, unable to believe that his younger brother, whom he always looked down on, had brought home a big Ella had seen her fair share of such scenes, so she didn't take it to heart. However, she felt an unprecedented warmth among Nick's family. At the dinner table, the family brought up Nick's shattered marriage due to unemployment, and the atmosphere turned awkward. Seeing Nick's discomfort, Ella took the initiative to share her experience, admitting that her acting career had not been smooth sailing. Before turning 19, her life had been pretty tough. She had even gone days without enough to eat. In a bid to change her fate, she courageously underwent 2 surgeries and only then did her career reach its peak. The time is every woman's greatest adversary, and now she's limited to playing sad middle-aged roles. Ella also revealed turbulent relationships, one even involving violence. Hearing this, everyone fell silent, realizing that even this glossy star had such troubled past experiences. After the dinner, Nick took Ella for a stroll in her childhood playground, memories whisking her back to her early years. Nick was undoubtedly a soft guy who didn't quite fit the modern standards, even making Ella want to bench him and say, "Anna, this guy needs a break." After a bruising hit to her pride, she finally tapped into her inner potential, and under the starlit night, their feelings blossomed. Ella kissed Nick deeply once again. If the first kiss was impulsive, this one was undoubtedly a heartfelt expression of their emotions. Just like that, they fell into romance, watching movies, enjoying romantic dinners, and strolling through the London streets at night. This time together allowed Ella to shed the burdens of being a star and return to her true self. However, during one dinner, Nick suddenly overheard colleagues discussing Ella, and she could no longer hold back, deciding to step in. "Hey, dear friends. If you truly enjoyed this both funny and fascinating story, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because each little star will enable you to live just like Ella, enjoying a superstar-like dazzling life every single day.